Time.
Hey everyone, welcome to Hyperfixation Time. I'm Danny,
And I'm Erin.
and as you heard from our intro, we've been best friends since the second day of kindergarten, and this week it's Erin's turn to bring a topic to the table. I don't know what it's gonna be, so I'm gonna be learning right along with you, so let's catch up and jump into it. So, one thing I was thinking about that I just wanted to put out there. This is like a anti-clue, if you will, because I'm Aaron's giving me a really very weird face. Well, I always give like a clue for like what my topics are going to be, right?
Yeah.
So, one might think that I might do an episode on owls at some point, but I
Yeah.
wanted to just say that it's going to be a very long time until that ever happens because, and I messaged you about this, but Ologies, another podcast, just did a 2-part episode all about owls. And so I just feel like it would be so redundant. I would just be like copying that whole episode all about owls if I did that. So I'm going to say if you do want to learn more about owls, highly recommend the podcast Ologies and her most recent episodes all about owls, where she interviews an owl expert. And there's like 2 hours of content there. So
God, I love her job. Like, I want her job just to learn things. But it's funny that you bring this up, though, because I was over the week, for some reason, thinking about what to talk about. And
right. For some
I was
reason.
like, it's for some reason. I meant, let me start that over.
No, I like it. It's funny.
But I was like, I wonder if we're ever going to do like an owl and a raccoon
I know.
episode. And then you had texted me right after that. And then, it just was like all sim, basically.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling raccoon's going to be a bit for me too. I find them super interesting, obviously, and I love them, but I have some other ideas in mind too.
Totally.
Yeah.
It'll
And
happen eventually if we get past like a year, maybe. I don't know.
I know we have to keep people on their toes. So.
Yeah.
Well, how have you been?
Good, but most importantly, I want to know what happened in Paris. Tell me about it.
Oh,
You
gosh.
haven't really messaged me about it.
Yeah, not a lot. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh.
No, we did everything that we wanted to on our list. So
Wonderful.
Our flat was across the street from the Louvre, so got to
Cool.
walk through that every day. Then we eventually went into the Louvre, which was awesome. Saw the Mona Lisa, a lot smaller
Cool.
than I thought it was.
It's kind of weird, like, because I saw the Mona Lisa as well, and it's just kind of like one of those things where it's like, yeah, that looks like the picture I've seen for my whole life.
Yes, yeah.
It's like, okay, that's the real one, but it also just kind of looks the same as every other picture I've seen. You know what I mean?
I know, and it was like that was the busiest room in the whole
Right.
Louvre. Like there's a line to get up to the front to see it. But yeah, it was kind of underwhelming. I mean, it's one of those things that like I feel fortunate that I have seen it. But I don't know, just was interesting to see it. It's actually kind of tiny. And I had this conversation with the person I traveled with too, is like, who decides what, like, that we like Vincent van Gogh's art and Picasso and those are the big ones. And like,
know.
I just,
Like, how does it, what's the longevity there? And I wonder, like, what artists are really gonna, oh, hi.
Ellie just apparently opened up the door. So sorry.
Hi, Ellie.
I
She's
got
so
distracted.
cute.
But the
yeah, no,
longevity.
I don't know. Because, like, what artists today is really gonna be that famous eventually? Maybe Banksy? I don't know. That's the only one I could think of that would, I don't know.
I
be
know.
the same tier.
I mean, like, it was cool to see a lot of the stuff, but it also was just like, yeah, that's nice. There's a lot of art there that was nice with different artists. So anyway, I could go on. But so we did the Louvre. The museums we did was the Louvre, Lingerie or something like that. And then Orsay. Anyway, we just did 3 different museums throughout the week there. Saw obviously the Eiffel Tower, both in the daytime and then at night when it sparkles. And
How was your dinner there?
It was so good. That was my favorite part. The food was delicious, and we had a window seat, so it was really cool.
So is it like up on the top, kind of?
It's like the first level. So
okay.
If you, there's like 2 spots. There's like another restaurant that's even fancier than this one. That's above, like on the 2nd floor, they call it. But we were on the normal 1st floor. But no, it was a really cool view, and the food was insane.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was my favorite part. I think it just was a good time. And yeah, just a lot of walking around in parks. We went to a little like neighborhood area that's pretty cute and a little bit more like kind of old school, I would say. Yeah, it was a really good time. Beautiful city, good food, really good wine. Their wine is just like
Nice.
cleaner than I can just tell. It's like smoother than ours. But anyway, it was a good time.
How was the champagne?
Very good. I'm not a champagne person. I think I mentioned that, but it was again just not. It was unlike any champagne I've ever had before. It was so good.
It's awesome.
Yeah, that was a fun little day trip to that area too. So, yeah, good trip.
Cool.
Overall, I wore my Paris shirt
I see that.
or sweatshirt just 'cause. What's your microfixation of the week?
Okay, so I actually texted you about this as well.
Yeah.
I'm excited to report finally about a book for my microfixation. So, I've been reading ACOTAR, which for anybody listening, that stands for A Court of Thorns and Roses, for anyone that doesn't know, by Sarah J. Maas. I'm on the third book, so I'm on...
Oh my God.
Yeah, and I'm like quite a ways through it also, which is A Court of Wings and Ruin. I'm like 75% through that already.
Dang, because when you texted me, you like were almost done with just like the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
cruising.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
doing a
cruising.
combo of like reading them and listening to the audiobook. So just like based on what I'm doing, like if I can't physically read at the moment, then I'm just like listening to it. But yeah, I'm obsessed and it feels exciting just because it's like I feel like I haven't been this invested in like a series in such a long time. Like it's just so fun to be like familiar with characters and like get into the world of it, and I feel like it's just like re-sparking my love of reading because this year has been like my worst reading year in quite a few years. So yeah. And for anybody listening that doesn't know the series at all, it's basically a fantasy series. There is some smut in it, but not much. It's not that much though.
Okay.
There's like 2 scenes per book. That's it.
Yeah, I suppose. Okay.
There's a lot of romance in the first 2 books, but the like actual, spiciness, there's only like 2 scenes per book.
I'm glad that you're liking it. I read them, I think, last year, so my memory is a little fuzzy of them.
That's
but
fair.
Yeah, I'm glad that you're enjoying it.
Clearly.
What's the one that I read that
You
I
said
like?
Throne of Glass, right?
Throne of Glass. Yeah, that series. I preferred to ACOTAR, but everyone's different. I like the main character a little bit better, I think.
Oh, okay.
That was why.
What's your
My-
microfixation?
My microfixation is the newest season of Stranger Things.
Oh,
so I
okay.
am
No
going.
spoilers.
No
None.
spoilers. No, I just finished episode 4, so we have
Okay.
or no 3, so we have 4 to go, or episode
Okay.
4 to go, and I keep seeing things like
Okay.
don't watch this if you haven't watched all of Stranger Things. So I'm curious what the 4th episode will be.
But yeah, I absolutely love that show. It's definitely one of my like top 5 favorite shows. And so like I don't know why I'm postponing watching it.
Well, the second half of the season doesn't come out until I don't think till the end of December or something
Well,
like
that's
that.
why. That's exactly
So-
why I'm postponing. Thanks.
Yeah. Yep. I know. We should have held off, but I'm like curious how they're going to wrap up the story. So,
Fun fact, last season, Dwight and I thought that was the last season. So when it got to like the last episode, we were like, this does not feel conclusive. We're like, oh, it's
this
not
can't
the
be
last.
this can't be the end. It can't end like this.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
I got my little Stranger Things lights up right now.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of.
They talking to you from the upside down?
Yeah.
All right. So do you want to dive into this week's topic?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to guess it has to do with Paris.
You're right. It does have to do with Paris. I spent a long time trying to think of, like, I don't know, I could do it on, like, the Eiffel Tower, or I could do, like, the Eiffel Tower, the Arc de Triomphe. I'm sorry for anybody that speaks French. I did not pick it up very well, but so I'm saying things probably really bad. And will...
Yeah, I was gonna say you're going to keep doing it.
Yeah. So forgive me. Anyway, so I wanted to pick something that, one, I did see in Paris, but two, was actually something that, like, a hyperfixation of mine, of course. Like, all of this was, like, I went down a rabbit hole on the Eiffel Tower, and the history of the Louvre is really interesting. I did go down some rabbit holes during this trip, but
Cool.
I felt like one is most connected to myself that
Okay.
I think you would remember and know about with me. Particularly a movie I was obsessed with when I was like 10, 11, 12 time frame.
Interesting.
Do you have any ideas?
I feel like I need to think first. Because I feel
I made like
I wanted to
everyone
guess
watch
it.
this movie. Yeah.
you made everyone watch this movie, and it has to do with Paris.
Yes. Would it help if I say it's a musical?
Oh, Moulin Rouge?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Got it. Yeah, I should have thought of that. Damn, we used to like dance to the songs to that, and yeah.
I made everyone watch it because I was
I should have
obsessed.
thought
I
of
still
that.
am.
I feel like a poser.
No, it's okay. It's been a while, but we did see the Moulin Rouge, which was interesting.
Cool.
It was a little underwhelming in some ways, but it was still
Sure.
cool. It's kind of known, but with the red windmill situation. So
Mm-hmm.
I figured since I just got back from Paris, I wanted to pick this because we did see it and it's Parisian, but also I have like a connection to this location, even though the story is fictional.
Cool.
So yeah, it's one of my all-time favorite movies. If you haven't seen it, it was released in 2001. Baz Luhrmann was I believe the director of it or something like that, and he's got a very particular style of movie, I would say, that he does. But it's basically a story of the Moulin Rouge, which is like a cabaret club, but a little bit more risque. Some like sex work and things like that going on with it, and then it's a love story between Christian and Satine, and there's a whole drama thing happening. And yeah, for the music part, it's like I think it was a lot of like Elton John, and they put in just
it was like modern music that
Yeah.
they kind of like reimagined for the movie instead of like
Yes.
writing songs specifically for it.
Exactly. Yep. And Ewan McGregor's voice is one of my favorite singing voices of all time. Obi-Wan Kenobi can sing. But okay, really quick, I want to show you because I bought a painting off of a artist. There's like an area where a bunch of artists were painting and doing
cool.
their art at one time. So we kind of walked around, and I really liked this one piece. So I'm going to show you because it is of the Moulin Rouge. So
cool.
for people listening, it's a sort of tan and brown and white and cream painting that I have of the windmill, specifically of the Moulin Rouge is kind of the center point. But there's just basically like a Paris scene with people walking around too. So I just thought it was really, really pretty. And again, just my connection to the Moulin Rouge. So
Yeah, I love collecting like artwork and stuff when you go places, and just feels like, I don't know, your home is just like a collection of memories, which is really cool.
Yeah, me too. My office is full of artwork or pictures or things that are like me. So it's added to my collection is my point here. So anyway, it's a really good movie. Really interesting themes as well in it. We'll kind of talk about it. But I was curious, like, how much of the movie is accurate? Because I know it's a fictional story in some ways, but it's based on the Moulin Rouge, which is a real thing, right?
Right.
So anyway, let's get into some of this. To understand the Moulin Rouge, we have to picture Paris in the 1880s, if you can do so. So basically, the city had just come through the Franco-Prussian War, and so there was a lot of hardship that followed that. They'd gone through a lot. People were sort of craving a, distraction, some fun, entertainment, something to lift spirits again, essentially, after decades of the stress of this war. So at the same time, Paris was also really in this like state of modernizing. People sort of had more leisure time, more disposable income, and there was just more of an interest in the nightlife, and they're just kind of modernizing in general. So, okay, I'm going to try to pronounce this. Okay, so it's a neighborhood that we went to. It's like a district, essentially, but it's Montmartre, I think, or something like that. Montmartre. Anyway.
Wait, I need to see that because I feel like I know what you're talking about. How do you spell
Yeah.
it?
Montmartre.
Okay, yeah, I went there too.
You did? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was like the cute little town or like section of the city that was like a little bit more kind of felt a little bit more set back in time, but also really ton of modern things going on too. This area was still technically a village outside of the city at this time, but it was sort of becoming this like bohemian melting pot. So a lot of like artists or actors, singers, writing, also just like sort of misfits, as you might say, or like people that wanted to maybe didn't quite fit in, I guess, to normal Parisian society. A lot of them drifted uphill to Montmartre. I just gotta say it like confidently.
Yeah.
But I'm just not confident with it. I even like did like a phonetic spelling. Montmartre. Yeah, anyway. So chaotic and creative energy all in this one place, and the Moulin Rouge was a part of that.
Cool. I was curious. You used this word briefly in your whole description there, but one thing I was going to say that I remember specifically from the movie, it's been quite a while since I've seen the movie, but I remember them constantly being like, bohemian. Like,
yes.
I don't know. They use that word a lot, and so I was curious if that was going to be involved in your history.
Yep. It was kind of like a bohemian revolution is what they called it around this time. So then entered Joseph Aller and Charles Ziedler, two businessmen with a very simple but very chaotic vision. So they wanted to build a cabaret that Paris has never seen before. So like really just extra attention grabbings, maybe a little risque, and that's exactly what they did. And in October of 1889, the same year that the Eiffel Tower was completed, the Moulin Rouge opened its doors in this neighborhood, in this district. Cool. So why, I was curious, like, what is the significance of the red windmill? Because that was in the movie, and obviously it's, like, still there. It's not the same one, but, it's a icon for the Moulin Rouge, essentially. People correlate those two things together. So it's actually because this area previously, like, way back in the 1500s, was an area that used to be covered in actual windmills. They were used for grinding flour, plaster, pepper, grapes, glass, even some like flowers and iris bulbs and things like that for perfumes. So it was sort of a nod to the history of that area, but like with it being like lights and flashy, also relating more towards the modernization of Paris in general. So I thought that was interesting. And they also, so their goal, these two businessmen that opened this, they really wanted people of all different classes that could be under the same roof, but it didn't matter necessarily, right? So aristocrats, middle class, I would say aristocrats because of the movie. Aristocrats, middle class, blue collar, working tourists, and that was not really done at this time, essentially. But
I want to go.
I know. Yeah, we didn't end up actually going in there, but maybe the next time I go. So it was really extravagant on the inside. Mirrors, chandeliers, there was a garden. And do you remember the giant elephant in the movie that they sing on?
I actually don't.
Satine's in like her red dress. It's only like the most popular part of the movie, or like the most crucial to the plot line.
See, I feel like I remember the first 30 minutes or so. Like, that's like fair. In my memory the most, because we probably just like started watching it and then like never finished. Like, I feel like we used to do that a lot. Well, also we would like watch a movie to go to sleep.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So yeah.
Well, in the movie there was, and I agree with that, by the way. We definitely did. I'm trying to think. This might have been in the first 30 minutes, but anyway, it doesn't matter. You're gonna have to rewatch it. Is all this is.
The only costume I remember from her is the diamonds.
Yeah,
and she'd be like, "Diamonds are a girl's best friend."
Yep, that's like the
opening.
She's the sparkling diamond. So that's kind of her thing. But anyway, so there's in the movie they feature like a giant elephant that essentially was kind of like her room, like this Satine, the main character, the like headlining courtesan. And I was curious about like where did that come from, right? I mean, it's bohemian, I guess, and you kind of that fits in, but there actually was a giant elephant stucco statue in the garden at one point, used for I guess it was like for some private, maybe belly dancing, but also like opium was really big at this time, so it was also kind of like an opium den. So anyway, wasn't just something that they made up for the movie, is my point.
Cool.
So anyway, this place, it was, it was an experience. They wanted it to be not just like a bar or like a show. It was kind of all of the above. Let's kind of get a little crazy. Let's get a little risque, like more than we would in normal day-to-day. Or it was an interesting development for this time period. So they specialize in something called a revue, which is just a variety show. It could be comedy, sketches, songs, dancing. They even had like a clown sometimes, acrobats. It's actually picture more like The Greatest Showman, if you've seen that movie.
That's a good one,
it was
too,
like
yeah.
a mix of that and dancing and drinking, and it was just a variety,
Yeah.
And then there was a dance that came out of this place that changed everything. Do you remember by any chance? There's a song that I hated.
To the can. And fun fact, that was my favorite song.
Yeah.
So I would be so obnoxious. This I do really remember specifically because I had a little boombox. Do you remember my little purple boombox?
Yes.
And then I had the Moulin Rouge burned CD. You probably burned it for me. Who knows? And the can, if that's what it's called, it was number 3. So I would like press specifically to song number 3, and I would go crazy dancing to it, and you'd just be like so annoyed. Like, let's move on with our life.
I need to listen to the medleys because I want to sing and feel like I'm falling in love with Christian. So.
Oh my gosh!
But the can is the dance that sort of came out of this. It existed before the Moulin Rouge because it grew out of sort of a different style of dance, but this cabaret turned it into a cultural phenomenon essentially. It's like high kicks. It's women with stockings, which at this time was provocative, that they would flip their skirts up and whatnot, and you'd see ruffles and the stockings, and it was provocative and rebellious. Like, I think it was still at the time that women weren't allowed to show like their ankles or something.
Sure.
So again, just seeing like the ruffled, they're lifting up their dresses. Nobody's ever really seen stuff, or their skirts. Nobody's seen this before. So the can was a very popular dance that came out of there. It actually, the name can comes from the Parisian slang word for scandal. So I thought that was interesting. There were a couple of very well-known dancers, and many believe Satine was partly based on. But some people argue against that. But anyway, her name is Jeanne. But I'm going to say Jane because it's spelled Jane.
I'm going to say Jane.
Jane, very... Okay, maybe I'll say it.
That's so it's not even how you said it. That was how I said it. Oh. I wasn't trying to mock you. I just thought it was funny.
Or Jeanne Avril, but it's spelled like Jane Avril, essentially.
Okay.
So she's got an interesting story. She was born Jeanne Louise Baudin. She was the daughter of a Parisian prostitute, and some speculate she had an Italian father that left them when she was like 2 or something, but it's not 100% confirmed. Her childhood was, of course, chaotic. At one point, she was even sent to live in a convent. Later, as a teenager, she was then institutionalized at a psychiatric hospital, which was infamous for diagnosing women with hysteria or women's hysteria at that time. She did have neurological symptoms, some like erratic movement and twitching, which doctors at the time just didn't really understand. But eventually this becomes sort of her thing with dancing and part of her art. So the hospital had organized these social dances. And then when music played, her involuntary movements turned into this mesmerizing dance style. It's just like nothing anyone's seen before. She later said that dancing was a kind of therapy for her, and it really actually helped with some of the things that were going on with her. So it's kind of just like a perfect match. So Jane left the hospital. She kind of drifted in and out of nightclubs and cabarets, and then eventually was told to change her name to Jeanne Avril because she was going by Jeanne Louise Baudin, just because she thought her mom was following her, so she needed and she didn't want that, so she needed to go under an alias, but also it just sounded a little bit more separate and exotic and different from her normal. So she was nicknamed the Strange One, Crazy Jane, and the Orphan of the Storm. It was said that she moved like an orchid in a frenzy. So I don't know. I just felt her backstory was really interesting, that she had this thing that was like, going up against her for so long, and then that became, she's basically like the sparkling diamond, essentially, like Satine was in the movie, and it all worked out in her favor.
Yeah, I love that for her, that she was able to like overcome that and rewrite her story in a way.
Yeah, she was, I'll just leave it at that. She actually does kind of have a sad ending, but eventually. But she had a really good time for a while. Okay. So her dancing caught the attention of a certain artist at this time who frequented the Moulin Rouge a lot. Do you remember the character in Moulin Rouge? By chance, he was like the sitar player in the musical that they did. He was like shorter, and his name was Toulouse-Lautrec.
Was he the one that was like, she's a sparkling diamond?
Yes, yep.
That was a really bad impression. Sorry, everybody.
But Henri Toulouse-Lautrec was basically a staple at the Moulin Rouge. He was there all the time. He was also kind of an outsider because his purpose in life was supposed to be to, like, keep the family tradition on the land, all of this. But he was actually born with a genetic defect that stunted his leg growth. And then he had some, like, accidents as a child, which only perpetuated, is that the right word?
Yeah,
perpetuated the already, genetic condition. So he was like 5 foot tall and just never quite fit into like the elite side of things with his family. But I did find out his parents were first cousins, so they think that it was due to some inbreeding that he had this condition. So but at the Moulin Rouge, he felt like it was home. He was an artist. He was a painter. He and Jean became kindred spirits. They both felt like they were two people with unconventional bodies, unconventional lives, but creating art in a place full of misfits.
Okay, wait. So these two real people
were
friends.
Yes.
I feel like that just, kind of adds to the theory that Satine was based on her.
Yeah, Satine wasn't like, the twitchy, erratic movement necessarily, but just like the fact that she was this redheaded star of the show, because Jean was redheaded as well.
And then she had like her own obvious health issues.
Yes.
Very different than what Jane went through. But.
But they were actually friends in real life, so that's interesting that they had one character that they used his whole name, like he was that portraying an actual person, but then they changed the main character to be a little mix of a few well-known dancers at this Moulin Rouge. So he was an artist, like I said, so he painted her again and again, and then he got asked to actually paint posters for the Moulin Rouge by the owners to promote the cabaret, like promote the image, pass it around to different parts of the city and surrounding area. And he would paint her on some of these as well because she was the main attraction, and it made her a star. It just was like an interesting pairing. She was like his muse, for a lot of people would say. There was some back and forth on if they like were ever together or anything like that, but it didn't seem like they were. But he just really was awestruck by her and painted her all the time. She gets married, and then she becomes a widow, but then she inherits a bunch of money, and eventually they both pass away. Okay, so let's get back on track with the actual club, the Moulin Rouge. So, in February of 1915, the Moulin Rouge actually burned down when they were doing some work to it. It closed for 9 years, partly because of the fire, but also because it was sort of like the Depression, so it was like not a good time in the economy, and they were also sliding towards war, essentially, so it remained closed until 1925. It was rebuilt, reimagined, leaning more into sort of the spectacularness. Ooh, that's from the movie, Spectacular. Anyway, sequins, feathers, all that fun stuff. So they still do shows today, like Can and just different variety shows, like a cabaret. It's a little less risque. I mean, I guess everything's a little less risque these days, but they're still doing shows like I think twice a night or something like that. So there's some interesting interviews with some of the dancers on YouTube if you're curious.
Well, I was just thinking, so by it being a little less risque, it's like, is it really just the same amount of risque? Because when it originally opened, like, risque meant showing your ankles, like you said. So it's like, it just stayed on par. But to us, that feels like nothing.
Yes, that's what I was trying to say. So you said it a lot better. Because, it's still similar to what it was before. Yeah. There's not an obvious, well, as far as we know, there's not, like, sex work going on with it like it was back in the day.
True.
But other than that, And actually, did you know that women couldn't wear trousers in France until 2013? There was, like, a law.
Okay, but it wasn't enforced, right? Because, like, I went to Paris before that year and wore... like shorts, I guess, because it was kind of hot out. But
you weren't taken to jail for showing your ankles?
I was not. Wait, but because you said the rule was you couldn't wear pants.
Yes, yeah.
That's silly.
Yeah, so it must not have been enforced, but it didn't ever get, like, overturned until 2013, which I thought was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the timeline goes 1889 founded, 1890s becomes synonymous with the can-can, and artists like Toulouse-Lautrec immortalize it with their art. It was said that Van Gogh and Monet and Renoir, all artists, also, like, would hang out in this area and at the Moulin Rouge, too. So it just really inspired a lot of art for people. There was a couple of well-known stars throughout the years. The fire happens in 1915. It reopens. It's reestablished then as a cinema, like, and nightclub. So it kind of it evolved over the years. Actually, in the 1940s, when it was opened during World War II, it was a place that German officers would frequent a lot when they were trying to take over France. Restored in the 1950s back to a cabaret focusing on dinner this time, so they added like a course, like a menu to it, and then music and dancing was the main priority, not as much like the comedy acts or clowns like I mentioned. So, and after 1963, all of the shows that they titled all had to be named with the letter F. I don't know.
It's just like a weird rule that they implemented.
It begins this tradition that where all of the titles have to start with the letter F, and then it got to the point where, like, new management took over, and they were just like, well, we don't want to jinx it now, so they just kept it up. But there was, like, I think, like, I don't know, 10 or 15 different shows from the 60s to 1999, which is the still current show that's running to this day.
Wait, so the same show has just been running for the last 26 years? Well,
I'm sure that they've tweaked it, but it's the title of it is the same. So it's called Feerie, F-E-E-R-I-E. But there's ones like Frou Frou and Formidable and like all these other F names. So I don't know. I just thought that was weird. Just an interesting little tidbit.
That is interesting.
So basically I wanted to sort of compare the historical side of this venue to the fictional part of the movie. So what is accurate is the film is set at the real Moulin Rouge, essentially, opened in the 1889, and I think it's like, around 1900 that Christian enters the storyline, I believe. Accurately depicts the red windmill and the giant elephant, because at that time it did have that. Accurately depicts the bohemian culture, like we talked about, with artists, writers, mix of wealthy patrons and working class mingling under one roof, essentially. The can-can, which they do use that dance style in the movie, and that was really a huge part of the history of the Moulin Rouge. And some of the characters, there was another person in the movie, Mimi, that was based off of an actual dancer named Mimi, so they did do some overlap, like I mentioned, also with like Toulouse-Lautrec and having some of those, but there was no Satine and Christian, unfortunately. And probably not the Duke. Though, so obviously, like, that was the fictional part. The use of modern pop songs, that's an obvious one as well. And I guess that there was some debate about if the costumes in the movie were necessarily the actual style at that time, so there's kind of some back and forth. They were more of like the 1950s is what they wore in the movie versus like this was like early 1900s, 1920s, 1930s. It's
actually a huge pet peeve of mine when movies don't accurately portray fashion. Like I don't know why, that just drives me crazy, especially like we're old enough now where a lot of stuff takes place in like the 90s and early 2000s, and I will be so annoyed when trends are wrong. I'm like, that came way later. Why are they wearing that? Or like, you know what I mean? I'm like, that's just your idealized version of it from today,
You know what show does that very well is Stranger Things. So bringing it back around.
True.
I think that they do a good job with like that. I mean I wasn't around in the 80s.
Yeah. We You weren't
But
there, but it seems accurate, at
it
least.
seems accurate. So basically, why the Moulin Rouge still sort of matters today, it really was like a change to the city itself. It was a change to entertainment. It was a change to how women were portrayed. There were a lot of male dancers too, actually, but just like the scandal of all of the ways that they were dancing and how some of the dancers would commingle with the audience and dance with them. It blurred those social class lines, which I think is really cool, and just kind of launched some pretty big artists. Really remains one of the most recognizable icons of Paris. So I like it because of the movie, but it's also just like a place for people to, doesn't matter who you are, what you work, what you like, what you don't like, where you come from, you're just all enjoying art.
Yeah, it's a safe place.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to go, but I don't want to go like right now. I want to go back in time.
Yeah.
And go.
Oh, yeah, same. Like, I want to go see it, like, in the 1920s.
Yeah.
After
like,
it reopens.
Fun and, like, chaotic, and I'm, like, trying to think of, like, what would really fit that vibe today. You know what I mean? Because, like, it's like there's obviously theaters and there's shows, but it's just so, like, you're separate, you know? Like, you're sitting in your seat and you're watching this performance, but it just feels so lively. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, like, is there anything also... Yeah, chaotic is a really good word for it.
I was going to say medieval times.
Oh, yeah, that would be fun. I know. And Danny really want to do that. I actually have that, like, in terms of, like, the chaotic thing again. It's, like, messy, chaotic, joyful, just a lot going on. So, but is there, like, an equivalent today?
Or, yeah, maybe even, like, a Renaissance fair, which I need to go to. I haven't ever been.
But I haven't ever been either. They do look interesting. And I guess... Yeah,
it's
people
not
are
risque,
like,
but it's what I'm thinking more of that relates to it is more of the idea of like you're like a participant in like a show in a way, because like you're dressing up and I don't know, like you can be in a character if you want, but like also there's a lot of people that are working there and performing there and like they're very much in character, and that's kind of
being around people that like that.
Yeah, it's
era
definitely like a
too.
Safe place because like it's going to be welcoming of whoever wants to be there, and I don't know.
It's on my list to go. Yeah, to both. We should
we'll
find
go
a
next
Renaissance
summer.
fair in the summer. Yeah, and then medieval times too.
Yeah.
So I got a picture in front of the Moulin Rouge, of course.
Cool.
It's a lot more modern. It's in a lot more. It's kind of in like a random area. It seems. I feel like there's just.
Got built up around.
Yeah. But I saw the red windmill, and it just brought me back to my childhood hyperfixation.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
We definitely watched a lot of musicals growing up. Others were like Grease and Chicago. I don't know if these are things that like 8-year-olds should be watching on the reg. What?
What the fuck?
What?
I just heard in my in my AirPods like an automated voice saying, "Do we have the correct pronunciation of your name?" I have no idea where that came from.
That's weird.
So if you saw my face on the video, that's why, because it just randomly, I don't know if I hit something when I went like this, but...
Oh my goodness.
Okay, sorry. Anyway, that threw me off.
It's okay.
I love those movies, though. And there was a Broadway show of Moulin Rouge, and I was really, really excited about it. And this might be controversial, but it makes sense they updated the songs to be, like, more of, like, the early 2000s songs, like Britney and Sync. That's what they used for this Broadway stage musical. So I couldn't get into it, the music as much.
They use different songs?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's weird.
I don't know.
That's
Britney
not
Spears.
any more updated than Christina Aguilera.
Yeah. Yeah,
because that's what was in the movie.
Real Lady Marmalade. That's a great music video.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's really it. I mean, I really want to watch the movie again. It's definitely in my top like 3 movies.
Yeah.
And
movies and not just musicals.
Ooh, movie musicals.
Okay.
That's what I got for now. Any final thoughts?
I enjoyed it. I think it did make me want to watch the movie again as well, and just kind of actually watch like musicals in general.
Well, I'm your girl for that. You know, I love
do you
a
like
musical.
Wonka?
I don't know which is that the one with Timothy?
With Timothy Chalamet, yeah.
I haven't seen that one yet.
You haven't seen it yet?
No, is it good?
Erin, I'm so surprised because one, it's a musical. Two, it's about Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Well, it's about Wonka, not Charlie. But that was like another one of our movies that we used to watch all the time.
Yeah, we did.
So yeah, I'm just like truthfully so surprised that you haven't seen it.
I don't know why.
I bawled my eyes out. Just so you know. Yeah.
All right. I'm going to add that to the list as well. Rewatch Moulin Rouge.
There's like
watch
one
Wonka.
song in it that I'm obsessed with, but like the rest, because it's kind of one of those musicals where it's like almost all just singing. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like there's like two different types where it's like they talk and then they like break into song, and then there's the ones where it's like almost all just music, and it's kind of leans more towards that. I think I prefer the first usually.
Yeah.
But there is like one song in it that I'm obsessed with.
Okay. I'll
But
have
the
to
movie
watch
itself
it.
is so good.
I'll watch it and report back.
Okay.
After I finish Stranger Things.
And Sweet Tooth.
And Sweet Tooth. I'm on episode 5 of Sweet Tooth as well.
Okay, nice.
Yes, so I will get on that. Oh, I was going to say, based on what you had said about the some musicals are all singing, the other really good musical about France is Les Miserables. Well, really,
and that's the one I haven't seen.
okay. Well, maybe I shouldn't say really good. It's sad.
Yeah, that's what I
Les
heard.
Miserables. But it's all singing. Like they don't even. I don't think that there's one spoken word in the whole movie. So if that's not your jam, maybe not. But I like it.
Like
I
it's
like the
my
music.
jam in the sense like I'll watch it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's probably not going to be like one of my favorites of all time.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to be sitting here listening to the soundtrack. I should say.
Yeah, that's fair. I definitely was not singing it walking around Paris on my trip.
That's awesome. I love that.
But no, it's an interesting one. It's like a classic too, so it's almost like you kind of have to if you like musicals. Do you have your topic picked out for next week?
Kind of. It's in progress, so I'm not going to give a clue on that. And also, I don't think it's like something I can give a clue for, so...
Ooh, extra mysterious.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah, so that means that next week we don't know where we'll end up.
Nope.
I'm just reading our closer here. Let us know, everybody, what you're hyperfixated on. Nobody's letting us know what they're hyperfixated on. Let us know. What have you been obsessed with lately?
I know.
Drop it in the comments, DMs, or email, and maybe we'll talk about your obsession in a different episode. So until then, embrace the spiral, stay curious, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.